Hey everybody! It's game number 13 in the Nancy Drew series. I'm playing this for the 2019 Nancy Drew Games Mega Marathon! So this is the first game where we get to see Frank and Joe Hardy, and it's pretty awesome.
Welcome to my latest case. Last train to Blue Moon Canyon.
A
to start, choose junior or senior detective. Dear Hannah, here I am at the railroad station along with a handful of other detectives about to board a train bound for who knows where. The only person who knows where we're going is Lori Gerard. That's the young woman who invited everyone. Actually, she didn't really invite me. She invited Frank and Joe Hardy, and they invited me. And I've always wanted to join forces with the Hardy boys. I just hope this doesn't turn out to be another one of Lori's silly attempts to grab publicity. Some people can be a little too rich and a little too famous for their own good.
All aboard!
Wish me luck. Love, Nancy.
Well, people, now that our little orientation tour is over, let's get started. Okay, I, again, am Lori Gerard, and the first thing I want to do is thank you all for coming. John Gray, I am so thrilled that you're taking time out from that TV show of yours to do some ghost hunting here with us. I mean, Ghost Chasers is like the best cable show ever. And Charlena Purcell, I cannot tell you how much I adore those romance novels you write. Your characters just seem so real. And all that stuff you know about the Old West, you are just awesome. And Tino Balducci, only the most famous police detective in the country. And then there's Frank and Joe Hardy. They're amateur detectives. My dad and their dad are old friends. And you must be the other amateur detective, their friend, Natalie?
Nancy Drew?
Whatever. All right, I'll bet you're wondering where we're going. Well, we're going to Copper Gorge, Colorado. Why? To solve the mystery of what happened to Jake Hurley, the man who originally owned this train. Because see, one day in 1903, this train was found in a place called Blue Moon Canyon, which was out in the middle of the Nevada desert. Only the engineer was on board, and he was dead. As for Jake Hurley, he had disappeared from the face of the earth. Oh, and two more things. Before he disappeared, Jake was rumored to have found the richest gold mine in the world. And the train he owned, this train, his wife Camille died on it while they were going to the gold fields. It was rumored to be haunted.
She's gone.
Oh my gosh.
What in the world?
Hey, what's going on?
People should never go tampering with things they don't understand.
Oh, brother.
It's okay. Everybody just stay calm. No need to panic. I'll get to the bottom of this.
Well, Nancy, you're up on all that social etiquette stuff. What are you supposed to do when your hostess vanishes into thin air?
So I gotta say, that is a really cool intro.
If
I
I
really
don't
like
seem
that.
concerned, it's because I'm
There.
not. Lori Gerard is a young woman whose only goal in life is to be famous. She craves attention and habitually uses her father's considerable wealth to get it.
So Charlena, you apparently had a makeover since we saw you in Nancy Drew, Secret of Shadow Ranch. Yeah.
So you think her disappearing like that is just some kind of publicity stunt?
I just think she couldn't resist showing off in front of all of us minor celebrities. What was your name again?
Nancy Drew. You and I have actually met. Sort of. I called you not too long ago when I was at Shadow Ranch. You gave me some information about Dirk Valentine.
Ah, Nancy Drew.
Yes, Nancy Drew, kidnapping on the Orient Express.
You remember me?
No.
No. Oh.
What else do you know about Jake Hurley?
Psst, Nancy! Come here!
Excuse me for a second.
I guess we'll be talking to Charlena and her ponytail later. Yeah, okay, so let's get started with this mystery.
Is this Jake and his wife?
Yes. From what I've read, Camille loved to sing and dance, even in death, apparently. Jake reportedly told people that after she died, he would sometimes see strange glowing lights outside the windows at night, bobbing gracefully alongside the train as if dancing with it. He said he found the sight very comforting. I suspect normal people would have found it terrifying.
It's just very, very terrifying. Okay, so that's Jake and Camille. So Jake owned the train, and let's get going. Party boys!
Hey, Nance.
Where have you two been?
I followed Tino Balducci.
And I went after John Gray. He went straight to the room in the car that used to be Camille's and didn't come out again. I could hear all these weird noises coming from inside.
Did you talk to him?
I was just about to go in, but the next thing I know, Joe's got my arm in a vice grip and is dragging me back here, babbling about how Balducci's our guy.
He found something on the floor right where Laurie was standing when the train went dark. I saw him pick it up and put it in his pocket. Then he left.
Did you ask him about it?
When I tried to talk to him, he just kind of brushed me aside and said something snotty like, "I'm on the job here, Junior, so just go back to the playground and stay out of the way." In case you two hadn't noticed, we're not getting a lot of respect around here. Can't we at least tell Balducci that we do stuff for ATAC?
You know the rules.
ATAC?
American Teens Against Crime. We do a lot of undercover work for them.
Wonder Cop's probably never even been undercover.
Joe, let it go. What'd Charlena have to say?
She thinks Laurie is faking this whole disappearance thing.
She's not the only one.
How can you say that? You heard Laurie scream.
Anybody can scream, Joe. Especially girls whose fathers have given them acting lessons along with everything else they've ever wanted.
What about you, Nancy? What do you think?
What do you think? Do we agree with Joe, or do we agree with Frank? Why is Frank wearing a life vest? Laurie Gerard was wearing a life vest too. They know they're on a train, right? Maybe Frank was just trying to copy Laurie's style? Okay, so everybody votes for Joe. We're gonna agree with Joe.
I kind of agree with you.
You've got to be kidding.
Do you think maybe one of Laurie's other guests is in on her disappearance?
It's certainly possible.
From the way she talked, it didn't sound like she knew any of them.
Maybe that's what she wanted us to think.
Or maybe that's what one of them wanted her to think.
Well, whether Laurie disappeared by force or by choice, what we've got to do now is find her.
Absolutely.
I know, those are puffy jackets and not life vests, but they look like life vests, I'm sorry.
Has anyone talked to the engineer?
Not that I know of.
Then I'm going to head up front and tell him what's happened. Maybe he knows something we don't.
Good idea. In the meantime, we'll take another look around in here.
Great. Catch you later.
And now everybody in the stream is saying, nobody voted for Joe. You're wrong, Michael. Nobody voted for Joe.
Pretty. Looks like some kind of gemstone.
I don't think I can steal the gemstone yet, but that's going to be a puzzle, finding all the gemstones in the game and stealing them.
Engineer, what do you want?
Hello, I'm one of the passengers, and I just thought you should know that Laurie Gerard has disappeared.
So?
I just thought you might want to call the police or something.
Hey, all I know is I take orders from Miss Gerard, okay? Right now my orders are to get this train to Copper Gorge non-stop. And until Miss Gerard tells me otherwise, that's what I'm gonna do.
Shouldn't you at least call the authorities?
It'll be my pleasure, just as soon as Miss Gerard orders me to.
But-
Now, if you'll excuse me, I got me a train to run.
Really, engineer? Really? Come on, buddy.
Engineer,
Hi.
is this Miss Gerard?
Yeah, this is Laurie.
Nice try.
Oh, come on. Really? Really? You could at least try to do the voice. So somebody's pointing out, you can kind of figure out who the culprit in this game is because a lot of the characters have appeared in other games. Obviously, Frank and Joe appear in other games. Tino appears in White Wolf of Icicle Creek. Charlena appears in Secret of Shadow Ranch. So they are all, you know, they can't be the culprit. We're ruling them out by virtue of appearing in other games in the series, leaving you really only two real suspects, John Gray and
A
Laurie
square
Gerard.
and a duck.
You could make that deduction.
It looks like this thing opens up. But how?
It would be really cool if somebody, if they had a
Looks
repeat
like some
character
sort of steam
who
valve.
is actually like an evil culprit. That could have been cool, but no. I think all those people are definitely innocent by virtue
that
of being
doesn't
in
look
other
good.
games. And Tino, no, Tino appeared in another game. Remember, Tino appears in White Wolf of Icicle Creek, so Tino is innocent by virtue of showing up somewhere else.
Oops.
There was the one villain who reappeared in game number 20, and that was more like, I think that was more like a fun
that doesn't
shout
look
out
good.
to all the fans who have been there since the 1990s. Anyway, somebody just said in the comments that was how they managed to solve the mystery. So so a hand from the deep, that's a puzzle. It's not a very cool puzzle, but that's the puzzle.
Sadie Crawford.
Oh man, and we have all the dolls. There are like 13 dolls throughout the entire game, just scattered
It
randomly.
looks like there's something behind this painting, but I can't seem to move it.
It would be cool if we had a repeat villain from the series. So the problem with repeat villains, and they do this in other video games too, or other stories, is if nobody's read the original book or seen the original, you know, movie or game where the culprit first appeared, it's just going to come out of nowhere. It's like, hi, here's the villain you've never heard of before. And it can be, sometimes it can be awkward. It's like, we're just going to start talking about the villain from the previous game for no particular reason. They might show up, they might not. And that's also awkward too. So you need to find a way to mention the villain without being it super obvious the villain is going to reappear. I think that's what would be my criteria for bringing back an old villain.
Yes?
And that's definitely not the criteria that they met in Nancy Drew Ransom of the Seven Ships. I don't think they mentioned any of the possible culprits as possible villains.
What are you working on?
I'm writing my next book. I'm on a deadline, so until I write those two most wonderful of all three-letter words, the end, everywhere I go, my laptop goes, and every chance I get, I write.
What else do you know about Jake Hurley? You know, the man who originally owned this train?
Wealthy, imaginative, adventurous, stubborn, egocentric, and most importantly, he was smitten at the age of 35 by a young French woman named Camille Voulet, who died about a year after they were married.
Where was he from?
East Coast, Philadelphia, I think. His parents were British aristocrats. Sometime in the 1870s, he decided to seek his fortune out west, so he had this train custom built so that he, and some years later his wife, could traverse the mountains and plains in relative comfort.
So he went west and became a miner?
All anyone knows for sure is that years after Camille's death, he showed up in Denver with a pouch full of gold nuggets and semi-precious stones, which he used to purchase mining supplies. He refused to say how he'd come by them, which of course led to speculation that he had found a fantastically rich vein somewhere, although to this day, its existence remains unsubstantiated and its location quite unknown.
Why do you think Lori invited you on this trip?
No doubt because I'm such an authority on life in the Old West, and because I'm so good at using old information to unearth new information. My knack for research is, well, it's a gift.
I'll let you get back to your writing.
My publisher thanks you.
So somebody points out, also another way that, you know, mystery series or video game series do it is we have the same culprit every single time or almost every single time. You know, like Ganondorf's almost always the villain in the Legend of Zelda series, or LeChuck is a reoccurring villain in the Monkey Island series. That's another way to do it too.
Another gemstone.
That's another way to do it. It would be cool if Nancy Drew had something where a bunch of returning villains came back, but that would basically be forcing players to have played the previous games. That's just the problem you run into when it comes to reoccurring villains. Also, because this game has been so prolific, I mean, just because we had so many villains in this series, that makes it a problem. I kind of wish they had tried something like that for, what do you call it? Game number 30, the Shattered Medallion, where they clearly tried to bring in... Well, they brought back Sunny June, and I was like, oh wow, he's here, but then they didn't bring back any other characters in the... So I thought it was going to be a big nostalgia fest, and they were going to bring in all these characters, and I need to focus on this puzzle rather than talking. But it would be cool to have, like, two villains team up and come back. I wouldn't mind seeing that storyline. Let's see, I think this must be that corner, actually. I can spin things around in circles, trust me. Yeah, because that's the only one with the green thing here, and, yeah, green and then green. So this is going to be green and green as well, so that's going to be this corner. So that means the other two corners are going to be this blue and blue, and then blue and blue, I think, because this has 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay, I think that might be it. That might be it. Yeah, well, we'll be playing Shattered Medallion later on in this Mega Marathon, so we'll get to see if that game, in fact, lives up to all the hype. So, was that not it? That was not it. Okay, let's see. This middle piece is wrong. Where is my mistake? That doesn't look good. These two? Got it. Woo!
Left pickaxe and lamp with buhl for safekeeping. To open what's closed, lead is the key. Or is it lead is the key?
Way to go, Nancy.
This must have been the sleeping car.
So I'm trying to remember the book that this game was based on. It's sort of like this, but different. What I think what it actually was is that there was yeah, I can't remember anymore. Sorry, I know they visited a bunch of places while they were going overseas, and it was sort of like a mystery competition, where sort of like this, where you have a bunch of you know, famous detectives. I think a couple of them were mystery writers and such like that. That came to solve the mystery.
I need 4 numbers to unlock this, and there's, what, 10,000 possible combinations? Guessing could take me a while.
But even if this game is not, like, entirely based on the book, it's still really good. I like it a lot, actually. This is a very well done game. It does a good job with that same premise of, hey, we've got a bunch of detectives here solving a mystery. And I thought Nancy's phone was going to automatically ring. It's going to automatically ring at some point with Bess and George getting mad at me. Maybe I'll just call them.
Hello?
Hi, Bess.
George, get over here. It's Nancy. It's about time you called.
What's up?
What's up? You're the one who's on the train with a bunch of famous people. You tell us. This is torture, Nancy. I'm dying of curiosity here.
Bess, just calm down.
Oh, like you're not just as curious as I am. She's been begging me to call you ever since she got here.
Only because you've been driving me crazy. I'm supposed to be helping her paint her room, but every other brushstroke, she's like, where do you think she is now? How do you think the Hardy Boys are doing? Why do you think she hasn't called? What do you think Laurie Gerard is wearing?
Oh, George, that is so not true. I couldn't care less what Laurie Gerard is wearing. So come on, Nancy. You're on a train full of famous people bound for who knows where. So dish already, would ya?
Bess, calm down. Look what you did. You got paint in my hair.
I'm sorry. You know, actually, that looks kind of cool.
Nice try, Bess.
No, really.
You're just saying that because you're afraid I'll bail and you'll wind up having to paint this dump all by yourself.
George, I kid you not. You should seriously think about doing some major highlights in that color.
What color is it?
Adobe beige.
Nice try, Bess.
What's going on, Nan?
Our hostess has disappeared.
What do you mean, disappeared?
I mean, the train went into a tunnel, everything went dark, and when the train came out of the tunnel, no Laurie. She just disappeared.
Publicity stunt.
My thoughts exactly.
Remember the time she was allegedly kidnapped from her Vegas hotel room?
Yeah, the guy across the hall just happened to have a camera and got it all on tape.
It made the evening news in practically every city in the country. And then there was her daring escape the next morning.
Only it turns out she faked the whole thing.
Of course, she claims her ex-boyfriend faked it to get back at her. She thought she was really being kidnapped.
Like anybody believes that.
Sounds to me like somebody has been spending a lot of time reading the tabloids.
George has.
Very funny.
Yeah,
so what else is going on?
Bess and George, teenage girls trying to paint their room beige. That seems kind of strange. Oh, yeah, that's very strange.
Before she disappeared, Laurie told us that the purpose of this train trip is to find out what happened to Jake Hurley, the train's original owner.
Was he murdered or something?
No one knows. He was married to a woman named Camille, but she died, and he eventually vanished while mining for gold. His train was found abandoned in Blue Moon Canyon, Nevada, with no one on board but his dead engineer.
Whoa, spooky.
Have any theories?
Not yet. but the train is also rumored to be haunted by his dead wife.
So first Hurley's wife dies, then Hurley vanishes, then the engineer dies, then Lori vanishes. A pattern, maybe?
Bess, do us all a favor and leave the detective work to Nancy, okay?
Has either of you been to Copper Gorge, Colorado?
Never heard of the place. Why?
Well, that's where the train I'm on is headed. Apparently Jake Hurley buried his wife Camille there after she died on the train.
She died on the train? Ew, creepy.
Jake used to see strange lights at night bobbing alongside the train and thought it was Camille dancing.
Super creepy. Yeah, I just got goosebumps. Which is hard when you're practically covered in paint.
Talk to you soon.
Remember, when in doubt, call.
Yeah, so now I'm kind of remembering more about the book. So this game basically switches around the two plot lines, where the first half of the game is trying to solve the kidnapping mystery of Lori, and then the second half is basically finding the lost mine. So with the book, it's the other way around. So Joe has a little girlfriend. Of course, Joe falls in love with a beautiful girl who's an actress, and she gets kidnapped, and Joe tries to find her, and Joe gets kidnapped as well by the culprit. Oh no!
Hey, come on over here. Hi, you're that Nancy person. How you doing? John Gray.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I've seen your TV show.
Then I don't have to explain what I'm doing.
Oh, heck no. Why, you're measuring the who's-whatsism with your trusty gizmometrometer thing.
Right now I'm taking time-lapse electromagnetic readings and recording background noise. This was Camille's private car. If she had something to do with Lori's disappearance, analyzing these readings may give me a clue as to Lori's whereabouts.
Science!
Are you saying that Camille's ghost kidnapped Lori?
What to most people are ghosts are actually temporary distortions in local electromagnetic fields caused by the presence of residual psychic energy generated by the person or persons who frequented that particular locale. That's my working theory, at least.
That's very interesting.
It's all very scientific. But the fact is, Lori's missing, and I, for one, am doing everything in my power to find her. The vibes I'm getting make me think she could be in serious trouble.
You don't think Tino Balducci will be able to track her down?
I doubt it. In fact, I kind of feel sorry for the guy. After catching those bank robbers, he can't just be a good cop anymore. He's got to be a great cop. Tough to perform under that kind of pressure.
Is Lori a friend of yours?
First time I met her was when I boarded this train with all the rest of you. I knew her by reputation, of course, like everyone else who reads the tabloids. It doesn't appear that anyone aboard this train is her friend.
Maybe she doesn't have any friends.
Wouldn't be surprised. Maybe you can be too rich after all.
Oh, poor Lori. She doesn't have friends.
What's your opinion of Charlena Purcell?
Charlena Purcell writes romance novels. End of comment.
I've got a spectrometer, so I am awesome. Romance? No, thank you.
Thanks for the chat.
Come back anytime.
Alright, so that's John. Science-y fellow. One of those ghost hunter type people.
The Little Book of Samplers.
I think, yeah, this is clearly a puzzle. Cool.
This looks like some sort of game.
Doo-dah, doo-dah. Countdown races, sing this song. Oh, the doo-dah day. Going to run all night, going to run all day. Bet my money on the bobtail nag.
I did it!
Somebody bet on the bay.
Wonder what's in here.
The bay over there. Name's Bob. Right? That's the name of Nancy's horse. It's a bay, right? That's what Tex says in Secret of Shadow Ranch.
Teddy Eberhardt.
Yeah, this is a rough puzzle. The one puzzle.
It's locked. Thomasina O'Neill.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Camille was teaching herself how to play the piano.
If that's helpful in case you don't know how to play the piano. Obviously we're going to be playing that song we just got on this piano.
I need some music.
Don't do that, please. Those microphones I set up over there are very sensitive. You just about took out my eardrums. You can play that thing when I'm done. I'll let you know when that is, all right?
Please.
Please don't. Don't even think about it.
Oh, okay.
I wonder what's under here, and what the deal is with those weird-looking bolts.
Like, I'm trying to solve a mystery here. Why do you put your sensitive microphones
Looks like
right
some
next to
kind
the
of
school
sewing
piano?
sampler. I wonder if there's a relationship between those symbols and those numbers.
Yep. That's definitely, we need those numbers.
Sup?
Well, I'll catch you later.
Pleasure talking to you.
Okay, so that's it for John. Now let's move on to Dino. Yeah, Nancy doesn't even try to apologize for almost killing this guy's eardrums.
Hey,
Nancy.
Nancy, right?
Hey, Dino!
You've got a better memory
It's
than our hostess.
Dino!
Who doesn't? Amateur detective, huh? Ever thought about becoming a real detective? You know, like me?
Nancy's gonna grow up to become a real detective.
You mean become a police detective? No, I never have.
It's a great job, you know. I love it. You, heard about those bank robberies I solved, right?
Tell me about them.
Baffling case. Two-man team at 17 banks in 3 states in 5 days. FBI had no idea who the perps were. But after forcing their vehicle to a stop, confronting them, despite the fact that they were armed and giving chase, I single-handedly made the collar.
And speaking of collars, you should pull yours up, sir, and maybe button it up. Thank you. Thank you. Not everybody wants to see your curly chest hair.
I heard they stopped because you accidentally rear-ended them.
You heard wrong. You see, Nancy, when somebody does something really remarkable in this country, the first thing everybody else does is try to tear them down. Reporters, late-night comedians, even some of my fellow officers. All have been spreading vicious lies about me. Why? Because they've never done anything remarkable in their sorry little lives, and they're jealous. Anyway, you should look around in here. Lots of interesting stuff. This was Jake's private car, you know.
I understand that you found something on the floor in the dining car.
Yeah, at first I thought it was an old coin, but it turned out to be some kind of slug.
Do you think it had anything to do with Lori's disappearance?
Nah. Probably been lying there for 100 years. It may have served a purpose back then, but now, worthless.
May I see it?
Sure. In fact, here, keep it. Wear it around your neck or something. That way, when people ask you where you got it, you can tell them Tino Balducci gave it to you. The Tino Balducci.
The Tino Balducci. Okay, high five, Tino!
Oh, thank you.
What else can I do for you?
Have you had a chance to talk to Charlena Purcell?
Now, why would I want to do a thing like that?
You don't like her?
I can't stand those sappy books she writes. And seeing as I said as much during an interview on national TV once, it's a pretty safe bet she doesn't like me.
I still don't know why apparently he has such a big TV interview where he insults romance novels, but now I can understand why the late-night comedians are talking about it. That sounds like prime material for a late-night talk show. So, have you talked to John Gray?
Have you talked to John Gray?
The ghost guy? Total quack. Only reason I talked to him would be to arrest him for fraud.
So, what do you think happened to Lori?
She could have been kidnapped, she could have been tossed off the train, she could be hiding from us. But I obviously won't know which until I've gathered all the facts.
So, you're gathering facts?
Of course. It may not look it because that's my style. I'm a low-key kind of guy. But hey, don't worry. I'll know the facts when I know the facts. The truth can't be rushed, you know.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
You've been a big help.
Helping people is what I'm all about.
Yeah, that's what he does. So he's just gonna stay here all day and take a look at his list of notes. I think that's what he's got. I think that's his notepad that he's got there.
Wonder what Jake used this for.
You can see he's missing the axe, left the axe with Buell for safekeeping. That was what the note in the sleeping car said.
Another gemstone.
I like Tino. I kind of like Tino. Obviously, he's a jerk who's full of himself, and he would be a terrible person in real life, but he's kind of fun for a full of himself character. He's just a fun, silly, crazy guy, I think. Oh, gemstone. And now that we have the gemstone book, we know that we can try to find gemstones, I believe.
Looks like an old-fashioned cigar box. Wonder why it's locked.
Oh, he's
And
just
what
reading
does
his
AG
notes.
mean?
So, somebody's saying that, obviously he's reading a Charlena Purcell novel, which is disguised as notes, or maybe he just wrote nice notes about himself. Hey, Tino, you're a great guy! Keep
Camille
on
with
solving
Hager
mysteries!
Anderson and Chantilly Hildegard.
He seems like the kind of guy who would, like, you know, write fan mail for himself. And try to pretend it's legitimate. It's like, hey, here's this
J.H.
letter I got
for
from
Jake
somebody who
Hurley,
loves
obviously.
me. It's the
Must be
letter he
Jake's
wrote
insignia.
himself. Yeah.
Another gemstone.
Can I not gather gemstones yet? I guess I cannot.
Eliza Sandberger. An old scale.
Tino's writing fan
Strange.
fictions about
It seems
himself.
to be built into the wall.
I write a fanfic where all the ladies
Those
fall
symbols
in
look
love
like the
with
ones
me.
I saw in
Because
that
it's just
sample.
like real life, huh? Yeah. So this is pretty simple. We know that cherries are 10. So to get 10, 3 plus 7 is 10. Ah, but it looks like I need owl and cherries. So is owl 7? Owl is 7, and cherries are 10. So 7 plus 3 is
That
10.
square and that duck
unlocks
look
the door.
very familiar.
So next we need to do the square and the duck, but obviously we'll need more money in order to do that. We can't do that math. I don't remember off the top of my head what the square and the duck mean. Let's see, we've got notes for
Looks like to
complicated
make this
machine.
thing, whatever it is, I'm going to need a spyglass, a pickaxe, and a lamp. Citrine, amethyst, zircon, those are all gemstones, I think.
And then Thirsty knows what these ones are. I don't know what Thirsty knows. That's obviously a clue for that puzzle. We've got more things in these desk drawers, though, so let's open up more of them. There's another slug. Papers which Nancy has decided are not important. She's not even going to try to look at them.
Silver. What do all those colors have to do with silver?
So silver is... I'm writing this down so I don't forget. And then finally, the final drawer is the bottom one. And this is a clue about Naughty Tina fractured her skull. So that's how we'll be able to recognize Naughty Tina. Let's actually go back now and do silver, because we might as well. So silver was orange. Blue, green. Red. Purple, and then yellow!
Wilson Carbide and Acetylene Works.
Oh, is this
Always
Thirsty?
your friend, Thomas Wilson.
That could be, yeah, that could be the
Looks like
Thirsty
a
person
pattern
that
for
we were
some kind
mentioning.
of dance step. Maybe I'd better keep this.
Sounds good. So does that mean I can actually steal this stuff now, take the carbide?
Carbide. Just what I need to make that lamp I found work.
Woohoo! I found the lamp? Oh, well, I guess I did see the lamp, but I mean, I didn't actually pick up a lamp and put it in my pocket.
That could be one of the gems I need. Maybe Tino will let me take a closer look.
Hey, Tino, buddy, hey, could you do me a favor?
What's going on?
Do you think I could take a closer look at that Cougar statue?
What, that cigar clipper? Go ahead, take a look.
I'll bet I need this stone to build that thing in the diagram I found. But if I remove it now, Tino will know I'm onto something. Interesting. I just wanted to get a good look at it, that's all.
What else can I do for you?
Thanks for your help.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I think Nancy's giving Tino a bit too much credit here. Tino won't pick up on what you're doing. He's not that observant, I don't think. Oh, hey, and here's a puzzle we can actually solve right now. So let's solve this puzzle. Pipes puzzle, huh? Let's see. That looks kind of good. Here we go. Yeah, this is looking somewhat okay. Got it.
There, all done.
Woo! Okay, so we've got all those things, all those pipes put together. We've got to do a pipe thing in every single car of the game. So you've got to keep your eyes out. You've got to do all of it, eh? So this is the machine, which we can't work yet because we don't have any of those items.
Wonder what's supposed to go here.
And that will give us this amazing map. So this is amazing. Nobody was able to solve this puzzle before Nancy. It's not too difficult. You need to find the nine-digit password, just like Nancy Drew's the final scene. Actually, it's kind of pain. Maybe this is why nobody solved it yet, but allegedly, the Hardy Boys are on this train, and allegedly they are super-duper detectives. I don't know why I'm saying allegedly. We do know the Hardy Boys are on this train, and we know they're amazing detectives, and I am just failing at this puzzle. Okay, got it. Woo! But that was all that Laurie Gerard was hidden by. That puzzle.
Laurie? Oh my gosh! I never thought you'd be the one to find me. No offense. Nadine?
Nancy Drew.
Well, as you can see, I wasn't really spirited away by ghosts or anything. That bookshelf in the dining car, you step on this thing in the floor in there, and it slides open. I practiced disappearing for weeks.
Was anyone else in on the trick?
Just the engineer, and all he did was keep his mouth shut. See, here's the deal. My dad wound up with this train when he bought out Noram Shipping. They'd been storing it in this old warehouse outside St. Louis for so long that everybody had just forgotten about it. Anyway, after like mass begging on my part, Dad had the train restored to working condition and got me an engineer and track permits and all that other stuff until finally, here we are, on our way to find out what happened to Jake Hurley.
I think you were going to explain why you kidnapped yourself.
Oh, right. Well, see, I was one of the first people in like 100 years to set foot on this train, okay? Everything was just the way it was when Jake disappeared. Except I also found this. It's a letter that Jake wrote in 1901 to his niece back east. He was real paranoid about claim jumpers, which is why he never told anyone where his mine was. But he was also afraid something would happen to him and no one would ever know where it was. So he wrote this letter to his only living relative, Ruth Kensington. Here, take it.
You want me to have it? Why?
Because you found me. See, in that letter, Jake tells Ruth that everything she needs to figure out where his mine is on this train. He also warns her that his wife's spirit is on the train too, which kind of creeps me out. But the thing is, to find Jake's lost mine, we need the train.
How do you know this Ruth person didn't find the mine decades ago?
Mostly because I found that letter in the wastebasket. It was like she'd gotten so ticked off, trying to follow her nutty uncle's clues, that she finally said to heck with the whole thing.
I was about to compliment her on finding the really important clue, which was hidden on the train, but it wasn't hidden on the train, it was in the trash can. So, why were you digging around in the trash can, Laurie? Where is the trash can?
So you want me to try to figure out where the mine is?
Uh-huh. As for the other people on board, If you want to show them that letter, go ahead. It's totally up to you. We're going to Copper Gorge because that's where Jake buried Camille, so I figured his mine might be somewhere around there too. But if you think we need to go somewhere else, you just let me know and I'll have the engineer take us there.
How come you didn't try to find the mine yourself?
Maybe I did. Or maybe I just thought letting other people try to find it would be a good excuse to throw a party. I like parties.
How well do you know
Parties
your
are
guests?
nice.
Well, I don't know you or those Harvey guys at all.
Hardy. Frank and Joe Hardy.
Whatever. I didn't know John Gray before this either, but I love his show, and I figured he'd jump at the chance to investigate an honest-to-goodness haunted train, and now that someone has finally found me, I can finally go meet him for real.
What about Tino Balducci?
I met Tino right after he got famous for solving those robberies. Inviting him here for this was a no-brainer. I mean, what an awesome detective. And those piercing eyes of his, you just know his mind's in there going 90 miles an hour.
You know, I guess Tino is really smart compared to you, but I gotta tell ya, I don't think Tino's brain moves that quickly.
How well do you know Charlena Purcell?
I just know her from her books, which are so good. In fact, I just started reading her latest one, The Moon Tells No Lies. See, what I'd really like to do is write romance novels. Everybody who knows me says I'd be really good at it. In fact, a while back, I sent Charlena some ideas, you know, just to see what she thought.
And?
She hated them.
I'll come back later.
Keep me posted.
You know, honestly, she could probably she's rich enough, she could probably just afford to write a novel and just pay a company to publish it. I feel like that would be something she could do. This is a puzzle. We need to take a picture of this before we can do the dancing. So I'm actually going to send it to Bess Marvin, even though I haven't technically started it yet. Okay, so,
The 3rd of November, 1901,
we've got this super
from
long
somewhere
letter
in
to read.
Colorado. Dear Ruth, I know that we've never met, but now that your father, my estranged brother, is gone, you are my only living relative. I am writing to you to tell you about my mine before I, too, depart this earth, and its location is lost forever. I cannot tell you outright where it is, lest this epistle fall into the wrong hands. But with the information which follows, and with my train, which shall be yours upon my death, I promise that you'll be able to find it. First, you will need a map. To obtain it, know that my travels have taken me all over this great country. But to
okay,
retrieve
that's taking forever. Let's just solve this puzzle. I'm sorry for anybody who wanted to hear the 4 minutes of reading. So with this puzzle, we need to do the dance, which was on that piece of paper we saw. So do all the steps correctly. So there's 3, and then there's 4. Here's 5. And that should be it. So doing all those dance moves gives you this puzzle. And something dropped. Oh, it's a gem. Okay, great. We needed that gem.
Wonder how you're supposed to get this open.
Solving this puzzle requires us to,
Guess Camille liked to collect dolls.
Okay, so solving that puzzle opens this drawer, but in order to solve that puzzle, we need to call Bess and George. So, let's call Bess and George real quick. How do I open this? I thought this thing was easily open. There we go!
I can use this to open that grate I saw in Camille's car.
I think you absolutely have to look at the grate, or... I don't know, do you either...
That must be the projector Jake mentioned in his letter to Ruth.
I don't know if you have to call... if you have to look at the grate before Nancy will actually pick up that thing. It is crazy, and Nancy normally has no problem picking up random items, so...
Hello?
Yeah, I
Hi,
don't know.
Bess.
Hey, what's going on?
Lori gave me a letter that Jake Hurley wrote to his niece, telling her how to find his gold mine.
If Lori knows where the mine is, why doesn't she just make a beeline for it?
Because apparently Jake was too paranoid to tell his niece outright where it was. So he filled the letter with all these weird, obscure clues. I don't think Lori could make heads or tails of them. I know I barely can.
Sounds like when he lost his wife, Jake may have lost a few marbles as well.
I get the definite feeling Lori Gerard has a thing for Tino Balducci.
I saw him on TV once. He is very cute.
Lori thinks he's the world's greatest detective.
And you don't?
Let's just say I'm glad he doesn't work for our police department.
I think the only reason he's famous is because he looks good on camera.
Well, I think you two are being way too hard on him. Just because he's good looking doesn't mean he can't also be smart. In fact, maybe Balducci tries to look incompetent on purpose. You know, to give the bad guys a false sense of security so it's easier to catch them. Ever think of that?
No, Bess, I never did.
Well, there you go.
Well, if he's only pretending to be stupid, then I have to say he is a much better actor than I gave him credit for.
The name of the company that made Jake's wife's dancing shoes is too faded to read, but to find Jake's mine, I need to know what it is.
Hey, I know what you can do. Take a picture of them with your cell phone, then send it to us, and we'll check them out for you.
But I thought you guys had to paint Bess's room.
Boring. Besides, we're going to have to take a break soon because we're almost out of paint.
Probably because Bess has gotten more on me than she has on the walls.
Anyway, send us a picture of the shoes via cell phone as soon as you can.
Actually, I already sent you a picture of the shoes.
Well then, hey, we're on it.
Ah, you guys are the greatest.
I know.
Need anything else?
I discovered this cabinet full of old dolls in the caboose.
Old dolls make my skin crawl.
Whose were they?
They belong to Jake's wife, Camille. Jake mentioned them in his letter to his niece.
They could have been Jake's, you know. I mean, they never had a child of their own, right? So maybe after Camille died, he went a little bonkers.
Oh, Bess.
Hey, I'm just trying to think outside the box here, okay? Something it wouldn't hurt you to do from time to time, little Miss No Imagination.
You know, maybe I'll just put this paintbrush down, walk out that door, and let you do this all by yourself.
No! You've got to keep painting! If I don't get this done by tomorrow, I'll be grounded for a month! I was just kidding about your imagination. It's wonderful. You're wonderful. Very, very wonderful.
That's more like it.
Well, we had a picture of Camille with the dolls, so we, in fact, know the dolls are hers.
Catch you later.
Remember, when in doubt, call.
So I'll tell you what, I'll resolve these two puzzles here, and then that will be just swimming. I don't need to dance in a dead woman's shoes again.
I wonder if this has something to do with that list of cities Jake mentioned in his letter to Ruth.
Let me see. So he said he's been to Calico. And then Silverado? I forget where else was mentioned. So I've been to Calico, Silverado, Central City, Dodge City, Virginia City. So where is Central City? Here it is. Central City. Then Dodge City. Central City, Dodge City, Virginia City, and Tombstone. Virginia City. So NVRZTBAA.
Guess I'm done. Strange. All that's left is a jumble of letters.
So that jumble of letters is here.
Looks like I need to enter 8 letters into this thing. The question is, which 8 letters?
NVRZTBAA. We did it! Well, that's one of the steps done. Hooray! We've got the right map. Cool, we did it.
Jake's mine must be somewhere on this map, but where?
I don't know. And let's call Nancy's friends.
This is the Drew residence.
That
Please
is
leave
not-
a message
that
at
is
the
not
beep.
Nancy's friends.
I don't need to talk to anyone at home.
They'll tell us the name of the shoe people.
Hello?
Me again. Just checking to see whether you were able to find out the name of those dancing shoes yet.
Your wish is our command.
But hang on to your hat. The name is a real mouthful. The shoes were made by Chaussette Chateauyantes. Chaussette That's French for shimmering socks. Apparently, if you were into dancing in the 1870s, that was the company to get your shoes from.
Chaussette Chateauyantes. Got it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for letting us help.
I better go.
Remember, when in doubt, call.
They really want me to call them, don't they? I guess they're just really, really bored with all that stuff. Okay, so let's get all these dolls into place. So I think that one's correct. No. That's the doll that talks when you pick it up, obviously. Yeah, that must be the one with the cracked face. This one's kind of balding, though. That's that poor doll. So I think that's, these two need to be switched. Solving that puzzle gives us some slugs. This random picture! And that's it. Yeah. Okay, beautiful. We are finished with Lori. Let's see if we can talk to Lori about anything else. I doubt we can. I really doubt that we can.
Yes?
We'll talk some more later.
I'll be waiting.
I won't be. So let's head on out of here. And we should be able to unlock more stuff. So 3 and 8 on one. Then we're gonna put 7 on the other. Then we're gonna put the 1 and 2 with the 3.
There! With any luck, I just opened the stove in the dining car.
Yay! Sorry, wrong direction. Let's talk to Tino while we're here, and then next we'll be going to John's
it's the
area.
little lady detective. What do you need?
I found Lori. She was hiding in the caboose.
Oh, yeah?
She disappeared because she wanted to see who'd find her first, which is why she left that clue behind.
That slug? I mean, I knew that slug was a clue. That's why I gave it to you. I mean, I could have found Lori no sweat, but I thought, hey, why not give somebody else a shot? And you came through. Nice job.
Thank you.
But look, from now on, if you come across anything that may have something to do with Jake Hurley in his mind, let me know, okay? Just so I can, give you advice, help you sort things out. After all, the opportunity to work side by side with a world-famous police detective doesn't come along every day, you know.
Yeah!
How did you and Lori meet?
We met at a party in New York. Nice girl. Not a lot upstairs, but nice girl.
She seems to have a thing for your eyes.
Yeah, she always told me they were... I mean, she told me once that she thought they were very, brown.
And gorgeous.
What do you think happened to Jake Hurley?
He probably died trying to work that mine of his all by himself. But I'll let you in on a secret. I'm onto something that could crack this case wide open.
You know where the mine is?
Sorry, can't go into detail. Let's just say that thanks to yours truly, what happened to Jake Hurley won't be a mystery much longer.
Thanks for your help.
Anything for a fellow detective.
Yeah, I think he's just making stuff up. That looked kind of creepy. Did the lights go out? It sort of looked like the lights went out.
That tool I saw in the caboose. I bet that's what you used to unscrew these bolts.
This is not too difficult of a puzzle as I recall. It It's your generic, you know, move one thing, it moves other things puzzle. We've seen this many times in the Nancy Drew series before. So what do I have wrong? This one up top. So it's getting to the point where, you know,
More pipes to
only
connect.
gotta, you know, when I move one thing, I'm almost done getting everything in place. Yeah, let's see. This might be it.
Here we go.
Woo! Hooray! We solved that puzzle.
What's up?
I found Lori safe and sound in the caboose, so I guess those vibes you got about her being in serious trouble were wrong.
Strange. My vibes are never wrong. What's even stranger is I'm still getting them. So maybe they're not about Lori. Maybe they're about you.
I'm confused. Are you a scientist or a psychic?
I happen to be both. What's
I'm a
commonly referred to as psychic
psychintist.
phenomena is all a matter of energy. Just because we don't know where that energy is generated or how to measure it yet, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Trust me, either you or Lori is, or soon will be, in big trouble.
Yeah, I mean, like, that just sounds like a weird future prediction, just very general. It doesn't know. You're just randomly guessing, sir.
Could you be more specific?
Unfortunately, no.
I won't keep you any longer.
Take care.
Alright. I'll see you later, Mr. Gray, I suppose. So, I just remembered. We have to do this. I mean, we don't have to, but I think there's a sequence if I try to go through here now. There isn't. Okay, never mind. I know there's a possible sequence when somebody throws the brake line on the train and then Nancy just goes, ow, ow! But it looks like I have not gotten that brake line triggering sequence. Let's go for it though. Maybe I actually have to look at the brake before somebody can pull it. That would make sense. So the brake is this thing here.
Better not mess with that puppy.
See if I pull it. Instant death. Instant death. That's not good. But somebody else is going to be pulling the emergency brake.
Better not mess with that puppy.
So let's let that happen. Let me get this a goat eyeball. That eyeball does not belong on you, goat. I will take it for myself. It's a valuable gem. I mean, why wouldn't I want it? I do believe the brake pulling happens when we're in the car that has nobody inside it. Somebody pulls it when we're talking to Lori. Yeah, something like that, right? I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not sure how to trigger it, but it's kind of a cool scene, I suppose.
I hear that Tino and you used to be an item.
How did you know that?
I'm a good detective, remember?
We went out a couple of times, yeah. As for why we stopped going out, you'd have to ask him.
Guess I better get to work.
Keep me posted.
Love drama. Love drama. Love drama. My favorite type of drama in the Nancy Drew games. Well, that's kind of a disappointment. I thought I could show off the cool scene of somebody pulling the brakes, but I guess I was not. Let's talk to Charlena and the Hardy Boys. And I'll try one more time to get that cool scene, because I've been talking it up. Now I feel like I have to deliver and show, whoa.
What is that?
Wow, those are the dancing lights. That, in fact, does look like a ghost. Wow. Whew. Okay. That is creepy. That is creepy. I don't know why Jake thought that was so romantic and lovely.
Yes?
I found Lori. She's in the caboose. You were right. She disappeared because she wanted to see which of us would find her first.
And you won. Congratulations.
I'm a winner!
Did you know that Lori wants to be a romance novelist?
Doesn't everyone?
Ooh, ouch!
Have you discussed any of her ideas with her?
No. Could we please talk about something a little more pleasant?
I mean, I guess Charlene is upset she doesn't want anybody stealing her job, but...
The others on the train, John Gray and that police detective, do you know them very well?
I don't know them at all. Needless to say, I don't watch television, so I've never even seen Mr. Gray before. Although I do know that his profession, if you can call it that, is rife with crackpots. As for Mr. Balducci, from what I've read, his success in solving those robberies was less a matter of talent and more a matter of being in the right place at precisely the right time.
So why doesn't Charlena watch TV?
Do you think he's a good investigator?
No. You and those two Boy Scouts you're with would make better detectives. Is that all, dear?
Well, I'll let you go.
That would be nice.
I think she was just
Nancy,
trying to insult the
what's with
Hardy
the Cheshire
Boys.
Cat grin?
You found Lori.
Yep, she's holed up in the caboose, and as a reward for finding her, she let me have this. It's a letter from Jake to his niece in which he leaves clues telling her how to find his mine. Only the clues are extremely obtuse.
You found Lori, you got the letter with all the clues. Guess you don't need us anymore.
Oh, Joe, quit pouting. Want any help?
Are you kidding? You bet I do.
Now you're talking.
I like how Joe was like trying to lean over and read over Frank's shoulder, but it didn't quite work. No wonder Joe was upset. Aww.
Balducci wants me to share everything I find out about Jake Hurley with him.
I'll bet he does.
He just doesn't want you to show him up again.
Yeah, he wants you to do all the legwork so at the last minute, bam, he can swoop in and grab all the credit.
I wouldn't tell him a thing, Nance.
Unless it's to get lost.
Meh.
It stands to reason that the only person other than Jake who had to have known the location of Jake's mine was the engineer on Jake's train.
Very true.
Not necessarily. Jake might not have told him the exact location. Maybe he just had him drop him off somewhere nearby.
Well, still, we'd be way ahead of the game if we knew where that drop-off point was.
Yeah, that's actually 100% the storyline. He was just dropped off at some place nearby.
If the engineer had any surviving relatives, we may be in luck.
The guy died more than 100 years ago. How are we supposed to find out his name?
Maybe Charlena What's-Her-Face could tell us how to go about it.
Good idea, Frank. I'll ask her. I found a diagram for some kind of contraption that Jake designed, but to operate it you need his pickaxe and some kind of lamp or lantern, which it looks like he gave to somebody named Buell.
Buell? Joe, show her!
Show her what?
That old picture we found!
Okay.
We found this on the bookshelf. See? Buell's Supplies and Pawn Shop. That's gotta be the same Buell Jake gave his axe and lantern to.
Yeah, 100 years ago. And the guy was a pawnbroker, Frank. The stuff's probably long gone.
Or maybe it's still somewhere in Copper Gorge.
Well, that's where we're headed, so let's just hope for the best.
Right.
Talk to you later.
Sounds good.
So it actually is in Copper Gorge, and we're actually going to be going there. And we're going to try to get the stuff from Buell.
Engineer, this better be Miss Gerard.
Well, actually...
Forget it.
Okay, so the square and the duck. Because we solved the plate puzzle earlier,
James
this
Thurston.
opened up. So James Thurston is in fact the name of the engineer. Looks like the Hardy Boys doing research is a waste of time. Nancy already solved the case. Hi, Hardys. Let's see. I know we can... I always have a hard time finding this, but I know there's a place... We can zoom in on the place you step on that Lori mentioned on the ground. You step on it, it makes the bookcase disappear. Let's see. Turn left. Maybe I zoom in here. Those are the dolls. I want to get that gem. Somebody said a table leg, somebody said the box. Under the table, maybe? Bottom right corner. Oh no, we can't find it. Oh dear. I always forget where it is. back away from the box. Maybe I turn right here.
An eagle. Where else have I seen an eagle?
Try checking this bookcase. It doesn't look like we can click on the bookcase. Let's talk to Charlena anyway.
More questions?
I'll let you get back to your writing.
That would be nice.
Here it is. Table leg.
This must be how Lori disappeared.
So that's it. Cool. We did it. Yay, we found it. Alright, so like I said, I'm gonna try to see if we can trigger that scene of somebody pulling the brakes. And if not, we'll just end this segment of our train ride and go to that cool town with Buell. Buell's cool town.
Whoa!
There we go!
Somebody must have thrown the emergency brake.
The question is, did somebody throw the brake? Or something?
Oh, Joe, now you sound like Lori.
Hey, I was the first one on the scene, and I saw no one.
Who was the next person on the scene?
John Gray. Then Balducci came bursting through one door while Frank and the engineer came through the other. Boy, was that guy ticked. He said the train could have derailed. He reset the brake, muttered a few choice words, then headed back to the engine just as you and Lori showed up.
Everybody was there except Charlena. I don't think she left her laptop the whole time.
Strange.
There's no way Lori could have thrown the brake, unless she had someone else do it.
The question is, why? What did she or anybody else stand to gain by stopping the train?
Answer? Nothing. Which is why I think we should at least consider the possibility that something less human in nature may be at work here.
Ah, Joe.
I'm going to see if Balducci's done dusting for fingerprints. Catch you later.
Okay, I'm not actually going to do that. I'm going to tell you guys about the engineer.
I think I know the name of Jake Hurley's engineer. James Thurston.
Great! What else do you know about him?
Well, nothing.
Good.
Good?
Yeah, finding out more about him will give us something to do. We'll look into it.
See you later.
If you need anything, just let us know.
More questions?
Would you like to see the letter that Lori gave me as a reward for finding her?
The one in which Jake Hurley supposedly tells his niece how to find his lost mine? No, thank you. I happily leave it to you to try to solve the mystery of his disappearance. You can afford to look foolish, dear. I can't.
How did she first learn this letter existed? I mean, who told you about it?
Aren't you even going to try finding out what happened to Jake Hurley?
No time. The only reason I haven't insisted that Lori release me from all this silliness is there's always the possibility that what happened to him has the makings of a bestseller. Although I highly doubt it.
Do you have a theory as to who pulled the emergency brake?
Well, I know it wasn't me. I assume it wasn't you, and I highly doubt it was Lori. So that leaves those two friends of yours, Mr. Gray and Mr. Balducci.
Well, it's definitely not the Hardy Boys.
What do you think their motive was?
I don't know about your friends, but perhaps those other two simply thought it would be fun. Boys will be boys.
Why are you so sure that Jake's story wouldn't make a bestseller?
His story is an all too common one. A man wanders off into the desert in search of gold and never returns. Why? He either doesn't have enough food or water, or he encounters hostile natives.
What about his wife, Camille, dying on the train like that?
That does make the story a little more interesting. She probably died of something mundane like pneumonia or even measles. Now, if it was wintertime when she died, and they were in the mountains, Jake no doubt kept her body on the train for months before he buried her, which is rather delicious in a morbid sort of way.
How do you think Jake's engineer wound up dead on the train in the middle of nowhere?
My guess is the engineer got tired of waiting for Jake to return, took off in the train to get help, and died of a heart attack along the way. After which, the train rolled to a stop in Blue Moon Canyon. Anyone experienced enough to single-handedly run a steam engine would have been quite a bit older than Jake.
Well, I'll let you go.
My publisher thanks you.
Yeah, she could have gone with any other adjective to describe the situation, but she went with delicious. That's not the adjective you want to use to describe somebody just dead on a train for months. That's... disgusting would be a better adjective. Yes, yes.
Nancy, you missed it.
Missed what?
The argument of the century.
Joe, he's exaggerating.
Aw, come on, you heard them. They were ready to tear each other to shreds.
Who?
Charlena and Lori.
All we heard was the tail end of it, and unfortunately we really couldn't make out what they were saying.
So you don't know what they were arguing about?
No.
But whatever it was, both of them were absolutely out of their minds, livid.
And it would probably be a good idea to find out why.
Let me look into it. I'll talk to you later, okay?
You know where to find us.
Back already?
Yeah, no, we want to talk about the engineer. We could follow up on that storyline, you know, if you people in the live stream really want me to. So basically, we could follow up on Lori getting into a fight with Charlena, and then we can follow up on the break as well.
Were you able to find anything out about Jake's engineer, that James Thurston guy?
Good news and bad news. The good news is he had a wife in Copper Gorge, so he may have had children.
The bad news is our internet service provider stopped providing before we could use our cell phones to find out anything else.
That's okay. We can do more checking when we get to Copper Gorge.
Right.
We just need to get in range of a Wi-Fi signal. It can be hard to do that when you're on a train. So here in Copper Gorge we have, well, we can go to the train, we can go to the museum, or we can go to the creepy crypt.
Yes?
You startled me. Do you work here?
I do. Are you looking for someone?
Yes, Camille Hurley. She died back in the 1800s.
Ah, Camille. Beautiful crypt, wonderful view, good drainage. Whoever buried her must have loved her very much.
May I go inside it?
You may, but unfortunately you can't.
Why not?
I accidentally dropped the key down the grate that's in front of the crypt. If you can retrieve it, you can keep it. I'm having another one made. But if you do go into the crypt, just remember, you won't be alone.
You're such a creepy weirdo. Such a creepy guy.
It's locked.
The crypt keeper. Just so creepy.
Well, there's the key. I just need to find something that key will stick to. I'll never get that key at this rate.
So that's a puzzle, and we will get the sticky thing here in the taffy shop, because taffy is sticky.
Hey there! Welcome to Buell's Old Time Taffy House. Come on over here. Welcome, stranger. Listen, you by any chance get here on that private train what's parked out yonder?
As a matter of fact, yes I did.
There's a rumor going around that Charlena Purcell's on board. Is that true?
As a matter of fact, yes it is.
Hot dang if that don't beat all. I've read every single book that gal's ever written. Best writer whatever lived. Did she get off the train too?
I don't think so. She's pretty busy.
Charlena Purcell herself right here in Copper Gorge, breathing the same air as me. Hot dang! Well, welcome, little missy. Go on in and take a gander at what life was like during the heyday of Copper Gorge whilst you sample some of our delicious homemade saltwater taffy.
Woohoo!
Sample? As in free sample?
Some taffy on a stick'll cost you 2 tokens, which you can get by winning both those games over there.
How much does it cost to play them?
Well, ain't you the little penny pincher? Fact of the matter is they're free. Less you go messing with the artifacts I got in here. Do that and you'll be headfirst in the nearest snowdrift before you know what hit you.
Are you Buell?
Do I sound like a Buell to you?
Sorry, the costume kinda, threw me off.
Oh, right. Sometimes I forget I'm wearing this thing. Buell was my great-great-uncle. This building used to be his general store. During the glory days back in the 1880s, he commenced a pawnbrokering, so the miners Copper Gorge was crawling with back then could raise some cash to pay for grub and tools and such. But pretty soon, the mining boom went bust, and there was Uncle Buell, stuck with a whole store full of junk. Only it wasn't junk to him. Debris from lost lives and broken dreams, what he called it. Couldn't bring himself to get rid of it, so he passed it on to his kin. My great-granddaddy's the one who come up with the idea of turning the place into a tourist attraction.
Yeah, so how does she forget she's wearing that thing? It should be pretty hard to forget. I'm wearing a giant... What costume is that? Like a prospector costume? And you know, that crypt keeper, he's got like one key to the crypts and he drops it. He's not very good at his job. Granted, his clients are very quiet and don't complain very often. But still, it's like, come on, crypt keeper. Come on, you've got to work. You've got to try a little bit harder at your job.
Do you by any chance have any of Jake Hurley's things in here?
Jake who?
Hurley. He was a miner. I think he may have left a lamp and a pickaxe with your great-great-uncle.
Never heard of him. Of course, that don't mean his stuff's not here. Just means you're just gonna have to look around and see for yourself. But remember, Susie Q, don't touch.
Great talking to you.
Ditto, little missy.
Oh, it was great talking to you. So, somebody's asking, where are her eyes? How does Fatima see? Are the eyes like hidden in the mouth, or are they aligned with the eyes in the costume? Yeah, well, Nancy is a penny pincher. Like, what is this? 10... So they're 10 cents each, it says. 10 taffies for $1. Nancy's a penny pincher. She never gets paid for any of her jobs, so she doesn't have money. She's not cheap. She's just really, really poor. Yeah, because Fatima seems to control the eyes of the costume. She can move her eyes left and right. Oh, hey, and it's Pachinko. Oh, almost got one. So obviously... Oh no! Obviously I want to get the good yellow ones and not the bad purple ones. Yahoo! Woohoo! Ow! What? It just seems to be a little random which one you get. Like, I pull down all the way every single time. Sometimes it gets me purple, sometimes it gets me yellow. Some people just like throwing everything onto the board at once. Yeah, I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna lose.
Neener, neener, neener.
Ow, I lost. Do the Hardy Boys get paid? Maybe the Hardys get paid, and they're the ones that are getting all the money, and Nancy isn't. So I do need to back away and try again. Okay, let's try again. Yeah, that's got to be the best guess I see. Just the eyes of the costume are googly eyes, and they just bounce around randomly. Maybe her eyes are inside the giant hat. That's where Fatima's real eyes are. Oh wow, she's looking out through the hat. Fatima's costume does look like this prospector in the game. I mean, gold tooth, giant gray beard. Why would this... Yeah. Come on, game. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this Gold Rush game. Yeah, that's what it's called, Gold Rush, and I'm already losing all this time. Okay, I'm just gonna stop here and see if that works. I'm not even gonna try doing anything else, because that might result in me getting hit by one of those purples. So I got two boosts, and maybe that will be enough for me to win the challenge. But yes, clicking the start button just over and over and over again is definitely a valid strategy. I don't know, now it looks like I'm tied. Is it the case that I go slightly slower than the enemy? It seems like if I got 2 and the enemy's gotten 0, I should win, right? If you have to be 3 ahead of the enemy, that seems a bit unfair. No, the enemy is totally beating me here. We'll see.
Neener, neener, neener.
Yeah, confirmed. You have to get at least 3 more than the enemy. That's just not fair. Yeah, I don't know. Flooding the game was just not working very well. Okay, now I'm 2 ahead of the enemy. Now I'm just 1 ahead. Now I'm tied with the enemy at 0. Actually, the enemy's ahead of me now. There we go. So I need 1 or 2 more in order to beat the enemy for sure. There we go. Good, good. This might be it. Oh no. No! Yahoo! Oh, come on. Okay. That took forever, and now for another game which might take forever. This one, pick a horse. And hope you win.
And I lose.
I'm not a big fan of this game. This game is also just sort of random in that you just randomly pick a horse and hope you win. Nancy would have better luck wandering around outside and trying to find a dime on the ground. Yes. Yes, Nancy would have much better luck doing that. Yeah, not a fan of these chance games. The fact that we have 2 in a row is just sort of frustrating. Looks like red has been winning a lot recently, so...
Phooey.
Oh, phooey. Yeah, now this happens. You choose the blue horse 20 times in a row, and the second you switch over to another horse, then blue finally wins. I think I won. So that wasn't so bad. That was way better than the other one, let me tell you.
This looks just like the insignia I saw on the train. I'll bet this was Jake's trunk. If this was his trunk, maybe the pickaxe and lamp that I need are inside.
I don't think I have the insignia with me. I think Nancy left that on the train. So we're going to...
Taffy on a stick. Hey, maybe I could use this to fish the crypt key out from under that grate.
We're gonna ask Fatima about that, and
Looks
we're
like
also
to get
gonna
some
put
taffy
in
on a stick, I'm
the
going to need
tokens.
2 different tokens. Can't get anything without a token.
Yeah, that's a tiny bit of taffy. That picture shows lots and lots of taffy. This taffy, not so much. Nancy doesn't even get to eat the taffy either. Poor Nancy, all that work and she doesn't get to eat the taffy. She just gets it for the key.
You still here?
Do you know what's in that old trunk over there?
Why? You ain't been fooling with it, have you?
Oh no, of course not. No, I just thought it might contain the lamp and pickaxe that I asked you about before.
Well, if it does, you can forget about him, 'cause it's locked. None of my kin have ever been able to figure out how to open it. Not even my cousin Alvin, and he went to junior college.
Would it be okay if I tried to open it?
Well, now, I certainly ain't gonna let you break it open if that's what you're getting at.
Oh no, I would never use force, believe me. But in order to try to get it open, I would have to, touch it.
Nope, sorry, not gonna happen, little missy. Unless...
Unless?
Tell you what, you get Charlene Purcell to come in here so's I can shake her hand, and I'll let you fiddle with that trunk till the cows come home.
Woohoo! But Nancy doesn't want to do that.
You know what? I've got a better idea.
Now, what could be better than me coming face to face with the lady who writes the finest literature this here country's ever seen?
Well, that's just it. If you were to just meet her, you'd have nothing to show for it. Afterwards, she'd go her way and you go yours, and that would be it. But if you were to, say, get her autograph, well, then you'd have something to hang on the wall and brag about.
Okay, make it so's I can meet her and get her autograph.
Oh, but the thing is, she's on a deadline, and if you take her away from her writing, she may fall behind. And if she falls behind, her publisher may pull the plug. And if her publisher pulls the plug, it could ruin her career. Do you really want to risk ruining Charlene Purcell's career?
Good heavens, of course not. All right, you just get me Charlene's autograph, and you got a deal. Just make sure she uses my name. I want it real personal-like.
You bet. And your name is?
Fatima, with an F. None of that weirdo PH stuff.
Okay, Fatima. I'll be right back.
Alright, so we need to get that autograph for Fatima. And also I'm going into the crypt right now because I have... It's creepy. And these grounds are... Well, I mean, would you maintain the grounds in the middle of winter? I know we've got big patches of snow, but it feels like the Crypt Keeper... I don't know what the Crypt Keeper does all day. It's clearly not cleaning off the, all the parts of the crypt. Nancy is very good at guilt tripping in this part. Yeah, wow. That was a great job of guilt tripping on Nancy's part. This is a slug. Interesting music. So these are the color things.
C-U. P-B.
I think those are the important ones. To open the trunk, lead is the key, PB is lead. So we're gonna have to use that to open up the trunk. That's how that puzzle goes.
This indentation looks familiar.
Are we gonna have to open up her crypt right now? This is creepy. I don't want to open this up. Yeah. So, copper was green, red, purple, yellow, orange. Nobody tell Charlene about this. She'll find it delicious that I was opening up somebody's casket. Okay, that gave us a precious gem, and Nancy does not look inside any farther, right? She just leaves it shut as it is. Thank you, Nancy.
In the letter he wrote to his niece, Jake said she should go to Camille's grave and let Camille's goodness rub off on her. Rub as in rubbing, maybe? If I am supposed to make rubbings of these pillars, I'll need a pencil, which I already have, and some nice thin paper.
So we need to get thin paper, and someone is saying there's a cool conversation with Bess and George in the taffy shop? Sure, let's go for it. I like fun phone conversations. Yeah, Nancy just messed with somebody's grave, not a grave,
Hello?
I mean,
Hi,
coffin,
Bess.
obviously.
Hey, Nance, listen,
So messed
I'm
with the
dying to know,
coffin.
what's it like to finally work with Frank and Joe Hardy?
Oh, Bess, you're incorrigible.
Hey, if you don't want to hear, just go over there and don't listen. She's listening. So what's it like?
So what do we think? Should we say that Joe has a crush on Lori, or should we try to describe the Hardy Boys? Well, Frank is the serious, methodical one, while Joe is the happy, impulsive one. It depends on the books, obviously. So, sometimes Frank Now, sometimes Joe is the really angry one, and Frank is the super nerdy one. We gotta vote for describing them.
Well, Frank is serious and methodical, while Joe is kind of happy-go-lucky and impulsive.
They're not trying to boss you around and be all manly all the time?
No, not at all. They're great.
George has a thing for Frank.
Well, you like Joe. But the real question here is, which one does Nancy like?
Ooh, yeah. Which one do you like?
Frank.
I kind of like Frank.
I knew it! You're just as big a sucker for those boyish good looks of his as I am.
You're not going to say anything to him, are you?
Me? My lips are sealed.
The way they were when I told you that I like that boy who works at the snack shop?
That was different.
How was it different?
I was younger then and had less self-control.
It was last week, Bess.
Right.
Don't worry, Nance. If she starts to say anything to Frank, I'll just stomp on her foot.
Ow! Hey, what'd you do that for?
Just practicing.
Yeah, well, I mean, in all honesty, Bess is not going to tell Frank that Nancy likes him, because Nancy has a boyfriend, number one, and number two, Bess doesn't want the competition for Frank's attention. Yes, how could you not love Frank in his amazing life vest? He is fantastic. So, let's see, let's talk about this funky museum.
If you like funky little museums, Copper Gorge has one that's right up your alley.
What's in it?
Stuff from the mining era of the 1880s, mostly. And taffy. Lots of saltwater taffy.
Saltwater taffy? I love saltwater taffy.
What were you doing in there?
Talking to the curator. The very strange curator.
Strange in what way?
She was dressed head to toe in this old prospector costume. So for the longest time, I wasn't even sure that she was a she. Fatima is a girl's name, right?
Last I heard. Did I mention that I love saltwater taffy?
She gets the hint, Bess.
Yeah, but I need a hint, so could you help me?
If I told you that I needed a hint, what would you say?
I'd say it's about time.
I'd say fire away.
I already know how to solve all those puzzles.
Never mind. Bye.
Yep, Nancy and Frank are just friends, and they live on the opposite sides of the country. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, there's no chance for romance between them, as I understand. Plus, he's got a girlfriend. He's got a girlfriend, Callie Shaw, and she's actually pretty amazing. She's a great character. I like her a lot.
More questions?
I mean, I think, like, in the original books, Callie's kind of bland and boring, and she just complains that she doesn't get to have fun adventures like Frank and Joe. But in the more recent books, she's awesome, and she goes on adventures and beats up bad guys and stuff. It's great.
What were you and Lori arguing about earlier today?
Lori and I? We weren't arguing. We were simply discussing a topic about which both of us are passionate, that's all.
Were you discussing her wanting to be a romance novelist?
No. And even if we were, that's really none of your business. I know that sounds harsh, but really, Nancy, eavesdropping is so tacky.
Actually, it was Frank and Joe Hardy who overheard you. They said I should talk to you before they gave me all the gory details, but since you obviously don't want to tell me your side of the story, I'll just have to get the scoop from them.
No, you don't have to do that. A storyline that Lori submitted to me found its way into my last book, despite the fact that she never received compensation for it. She's reading the book now, and when she got to that part, she freaked.
Okay, so here's the storyline. Obviously, she wrote a story where Frank and Nancy fall in love, where Ned and Callie decide to date each other. Yeah, that's how she resolves those two love triangles. And obviously, when Lori read that, she freaked out.
You stole one of her ideas?
She had no business sending me unsolicited material. But technically, yes. Now, legally, she can't prove anything, and I'm certainly not about to admit anything, and it's not as if she needs the money. But that's what we were arguing about. For what it's worth, I'm going to talk to this producer I know to see if he'll cast Lori in his next movie. It'll help ease my conscience, and who knows? She could wind up being a star. I mean, she is blonde.
I don't really think she has movie star material. But yeah, Charlena must be really desperate if she's stealing story ideas from Lori.
I met a huge fan of yours in town who'd really like your autograph. An autographed picture would be even better.
Imagine that, me having fans way out here in the boonies. Well, I'm sure I have a picture around here somewhere. But what I don't have is a pen. Usually I just ask my assistant for one.
I have a pencil here somewhere.
A pencil won't do, dear. It has to be ink. See if you can borrow a pen from somebody.
Oh, okay. So we need to get the pen from, Tino. Let's see, I need to
Looks
look at
like
the
Tino's
emergency
through dusting
brake.
for fingerprints. Better not mess with that puppy.
Yeah, we're gonna resolve that emergency brake storyline in a moment. Let's see, I know there was a clue, like, down here. I love his science-y stuff.
Sickly Sarah caught a germ so new, it made one of her pretty green eyes turn blue.
Yeah, you can't sign a picture. I mean, we get to see the picture later on. You can't sign that picture with just a pencil. Then it would fade really obviously and really quickly, and it would be awful. Yeah. I could have sworn we were supposed to find some sort of evidence around here, but maybe that's later.
I saw a bunch of weird glowing lights outside the window of the sleeping car.
Really? Actually, I'm not surprised.
Charlena said Jake Hurley used to see them too, only he attributed them to his dead wife, Camille.
They're probably some form of piezoelectricity. See, my guess is quartz crystals in the ground are being compressed as the train passes over them, and the resulting voltage, called piezoelectricity, is manifesting itself as glowing lights, probably because of some quirk in the train's shape or in the composition of the metals used in its construction. It was custom built, remember?
So it's a natural phenomenon, not a ghostly one?
Take it from me. Old Mother Nature was capable of some pretty scary stuff.
So are you making any progress in here?
Oh yeah, not only am I getting some real unusual EMRs, that's electromagnetic readings, but take a look at this.
Frankly, I'm not into this ghost stuff, so I think I'll pass.
No problem. Need something else?
I really, really need a pen. Could I borrow one from you?
Sorry.
I won't keep you any longer.
Take care.
Alright, so then let's ask Tino. I know Tino has the pen.
Glad you dropped in. Lori told me she'd given you a letter from Jake Hurley that says how to find his mine.
That's right. You can read it if you want.
Lori should have given that to me. I mean, I'm the trained professional around here. Let me take a look. I've seen enough. 2 words. Useless. Those are just the rantings of a guy who spent way too much of his life swirling mud around in Pandora in the hot sun. 5-star nut job.
Lori says she found this letter in a wastebasket.
Exactly where it belongs.
How come you told me you and Lori never went out, and she told me you did?
Don't you ever stop asking questions?
When people start answering them honestly, I do.
I dumped her, okay? I'm not proud of what I did. I'm not happy about what I did, but it's done. It's over. Now let's drop it.
If you didn't want to dump her, why did you?
You are incredibly irritating, you know that? I dumped her because people said going out with her would make me look bad. Said she was a joke, that no one took her seriously. Said if I started hanging with her, no one would take me seriously. So I stopped calling.
But you didn't stop caring.
But you didn't stop caring.
No. Now take a powder. I don't feel like talking anymore.
Okay, so in the background, I was trying to look up romance stuff. So in the Nancy Drew Hardy Boys Super Mystery Series, Frank and Nancy tend to be flirty with each other and have crushes on each other. Obviously, their relationship can't go anywhere because they're both dating other people. But, you know, depending on the author, sometimes they get really romantic and flirty with each other. So I was just looking up what are the books where Nancy and Frank kiss each other. So that would be book number 5 of the series, The Last Resort. And then book number 25, Secrets of the Nile, where they're going undercover as a married couple, and so they have to kiss to keep up their cover. And I don't know about this. That sounds like an excuse for romance drama to me, but it was awesome.
Still don't feel like talking.
Oh, but I really needed to talk to you about the one thing. It's okay. Tino's really good at making himself look bad. He doesn't need Lori's help to make him look bad. So, yeah.
Still don't feel like talking.
Really? Oh, jeez, I made a mistake in doing these conversations backwards. Nancy has to jump through hoops just to get a pen. It's ridiculous.
Before you say anything, I just want to say thank you.
For what?
Tino came to see me. He said you'd made him realize what a jerk he'd been for dumping me, and then he asked me out. Isn't that great? He said he doesn't care what anybody else thinks. He thinks we make the perfect couple.
Well, I can't argue with him there.
So what do you want?
Yeah, you guys are both equally stupid.
Would you happen to have a pen I could borrow?
A pen? A pen. Do I have a pen? Nope, afraid not. Sorry.
Do you have any idea who threw the emergency brake?
I know exactly who did it.
You do?
Well, who else could it be? Camille. None of us has any reason to stop the train but Camille. She doesn't want us to find Jake's mine, so she's going to do whatever she can to keep its location a secret.
She is dead, you know.
Well, duh. That's why I know it's her. What's more, your friend, that Jim Hurley guy?
Not Jim, Joe Hardy.
Yeah, well, he thinks it's Camille, too. He just doesn't have the guts to say so.
We'll talk some more later.
You go, girl.
Oh, yeah. So Lori and Tino are back together. We have saved their relationship. Yeah, with the Hardy Boys, the book Secrets of the Nile, it was okay. I didn't really like it. It's one of those books where Nancy and the Hardys team up to solve a mystery, only they spend almost no time together. They basically are solving two separate mysteries at the exact same time, and then at the end of the book, the two mysteries combine. That happens a lot in the crossover series. So that made me sad. I wanted to see Nancy and Frank in romance drama the entire time, and not just like twice.
I can't stay mad at a fellow detective. What do you need?
Do you by any chance have a pen I could borrow?
Why, I'm surprised at you. Don't you know that every detective should carry a pen?
Actually, I carry a pencil.
Well, as it happens, I got lots of pens. Tell you what, if you can play that Leapin' Lizards game I found over there and do better than I did when I played it, which shouldn't be that hard seeing as how smart you are, I'll give you a pen. What do you say?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, the object of the game is to get rid of as many lizards as you can by jumping them with other lizards until you can't jump
Pencils,
anymore.
more
Last time I played, I
reliable
wound up with just
than
5 lizards.
pens,
If you can wind up with only 4, the pen's yours.
Oh, in the old TV series, there's a lot of Nancy Frank drama. Ooh, oh, I did not know that. I haven't watched the 1970s Nancy Drew Hardy Boys series. Leapin' Lizards. Let me see. It's gonna be kind of difficult to get a bunch of lizards left. Okay, there we go. I've got one in this one corner here. So Nancy and Frank kiss on the TV show. Well, as I understand, one of the actors who plays the Hardy Boys is supposed to be just like a super mega hunk. Is that correct?
I did it! I won!
Woohoo!
Talk about luck. Here's your pen.
Really? Really? Oh, you got lucky. Well, that's a world of difference from, you're pretty smart, you could do this.
What else can I do for you?
Seriously.
Did you find any fingerprints on the emergency brake handle?
None that were any help, thanks to Casey Jones up there. I told the old geezer not to touch anything, but he went and got his big, fat, oily paw prints all over the place. If we didn't need him to drive the train, I'd charge him with obstruction of justice.
So you have no idea who threw the brake?
Whoa, I didn't say that. As a matter of fact, I found this. Probably fell out of the perp's pocket while he was yanking on the handle.
Looks like some kind of thermometer.
Yeah, like the kind a certain ghost hunter uses on that bogus show of his.
You think John Gray threw the brake? But why would he do that?
Because they're thinking about axing his show, that's why. I checked with this buddy of mine in L.A. Gray's got to come up with something real big real soon, or he's toast. And you can't get much bigger than a train with a spooky past that's prone to strange accidents, now can ya?
Who else have you told about this?
All in due time. I always like to get my ducks in a row before I make an arrest.
But couldn't someone else have dropped that thermometer?
Please, who's the top cop here, huh? Who's the world-famous detective? You? I know what I'm doing, sweetheart. John Gray wanted publicity. That's exactly what I'm gonna give him.
I am the world-famous detective.
You've been a big help.
Helping people is what I'm all about.
Yeah, Tino's being a jerk there. I thought Tino was a cool guy. I thought he was a great detective. I thought he would be my hero. Instead,
what's going on?
He's just a jerk.
It's been great talking to you.
Helping people is what I'm all about.
Yeah, helping people's what I'm all about. Yeah, but seriously, don't call Nancy sweetheart. That's just all types of wrong and not working well. Let's see, we've got those packing peanuts there.
Hey, glad you stopped in. You gotta listen to this.
If it concerns something ghostly, I'd rather not.
No problem. What's up?
Are you by any chance missing a small digital thermometer?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I am. When I went through the box I'd packed them in, that one over there, I came up one short. I was hoping to set up at least 6 in here so I could check for cold spots. How did you know I was missing one?
Because Tino Balducci found it by the emergency brake handle when he was dusting it for fingerprints, and now he thinks you're the one who pulled it.
That's ridiculous. I didn't have any reason to pull the emergency brake.
Have you been in this room the whole time you've been on the train?
Of course not. I made a couple of trips to my compartment in the sleeping car to get more equipment. But did I get an overpowering urge to pull the emergency brake while I was there? No.
Any truth to the rumor that your show's about to be canceled?
Newsflash. My show was canceled. Happened last night. But what nobody knows yet is that it's been picked up by a major TV network. Not only am I still on the air, but I'm sitting prettier than ever. Any other questions?
Thanks for the chat.
Take care.
Yeah, Nancy's not going to bother confirming this and making sure it's true. In any case, I think we spent enough time on the train. Let's get back to mystery solving. We can go back to Tino. We'll go back to Tino later and ask him about those packing peanuts.
Have you found a pen so I can autograph that picture?
I got it from Tino. You can keep it. If you could have it say, to Fatima, that'd be great.
There you go. Anything else?
I'll let you get back to your writing.
Let me know if you run across anything juicy.
Yeah, Nancy could really just Google that information on her phone, and that would be really... that would be fantastic. Yes, okay, so where was I? I have the signed autograph, now I can open up the trunk.
Hey, Nancy.
Oh, hey guys, how's it going?
There you are. We've been looking for you.
Yeah, you won't believe the lucky break we caught.
Lucky break? Hey, that was the result of good old-fashioned detective work.
It was the result of your insisting we stop for a cheeseburger.
Guys, what's going on?
Well, it turns out that a grandchild of Jake's engineer still lives around here.
What's more, he hangs out at the local diner. Comes in every day.
Apparently, he's pretty ancient.
And you found that out because you were getting a hamburger?
Ah, and you found that out when you stopped there so Joe could get a hamburger.
Cheeseburger.
The thing is, the owner of the diner wouldn't agree to point the guy out unless one of us fills in for his short-order cook.
He's got to go home and wait for the cable guy or something.
And since Joe here barely knows how to boil water, guess who got the job?
So Joe can't cook? Why don't you learn how to cook cheeseburgers?
Way to go, Frank.
Oh, and get this. Balducci convinced Lori that Jake's mine is somewhere right here in Copper Gorge, so he, Lori, and John Gray are hiking up the mountain out there even as we speak.
Like that bumblebrain's gonna find anything.
Sounds like now might be a good time to do some serious poking around on the train.
Good thought.
Hey, I better get going. Wish me luck.
I'll go with you. You can make me a cheeseburger.
Delicious. Okay, so we just got rid of everybody on the train. Yay! Let's see, we're gonna give her
Got
the
that
signed
autograph?
Got something better. An autographed picture.
Hot dang! She spelled my name right and everything. Go ahead, little missy. Have a go at that trunk. Whatever's inside it's all yours.
Let me see. I think if we move around, she'll hang up the photo.
There we go.
Yep. Now it's up here. You can see the framed photo. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. So now I
This
can open up the
indentation looks
trunk.
familiar.
Alright, so let me look up what the solution to this puzzle was. It's red, green, blue, orange, purple. Green, blue, orange, yellow, purple.
Well, here's Jake's lamp. Another slug. Could come in handy.
Yeah, but where's the pickaxe?
Where's his pickaxe?
There's no pickaxe. Excuse me, Fatima. Where is the pickaxe?
Welcome back.
Have you by any chance ever come across a pickaxe that had the initials JH carved into it?
Why?
Because it used to belong to Jake Hurley, and I really, really need it. I thought it would be in that old trunk, but it wasn't.
You got that trunk open? Wait till I tell Cousin Alvin. He thinks he's so smart. As for that pickaxe, so happens I got it upstairs in my kitchen. Use it to open the coconuts Aunt Lucy sends me every year from Hawaii.
Do you think I could have it?
Why, no, you can't have it. How would I open them coconuts?
Let's guilt trip her again.
Hey, I could have just gotten you Charlena's autograph, but instead I got you an autographed picture, which is way better. You owe me.
Ah, okay. I'll let you have the pickaxe. After you do something for me.
Sure.
I got a bunch of taffy over there what needs sorting. Just follow the directions that are posted by the machine. Them belts get moving pretty fast, so you gotta keep your wits about you. While you're doing that, I'll fetch that pickaxe.
You got a deal.
So now we have the taffy
Wax
puzzle.
paper for the taffy.
And I'm
Would you mind if I took a
grabbing the
piece of
paper.
wax paper?
Guess I could let you have a piece.
We need that to make a rubbing in the crypt. And let's try calling Bess and George again. Let's see if we have a different conversation about taffy now.
Hello?
Hi, Bess.
Hey, what's going on?
Charlena and Lori had this big, huge argument, and you'll never guess why.
Lori called Charlena a hack.
No.
Charlena called Lori an airhead.
No.
Bess, she doesn't really want you to guess, okay? Tell us, Nan.
Well, it seems that Lori sent Charlena a bunch of story ideas, one of which Charlena used in her latest book without telling or paying Lori.
Charlena stole something Lori wrote? That's incredible.
No, the fact that Lori wrote something that Charlena thought was worth stealing. That's what's incredible.
It makes me think that Charlena is a lot more devious than she appears.
Yeah, better keep an eye on her, Nan.
So why does Fatima wear that giant suit? Does it bring in a lot more customers? Because there are never any customers besides Nancy.
Did I tell you what Frank Hardy is doing?
Ooh, this sounds good. What?
He's working undercover as a short-order cook at the diner in Copper Gorge, where a grandson of Jake Hurley's engineer hangs out.
Frank knows how to cook?
He said he did.
Frank is cute and he cooks? That does it. Which one of you wants to be my maid of honor?
Whoa, George, calm down.
I went inside the crypt
Also,
where
Bess
Jake buried
needs to
his
be your
wife,
maid of
Camille.
honor.
Was she still there?
As far as I know.
Did you see her?
No, she was kind enough to stay in her coffin.
Was it like totally gross and creepy in there?
Well, I kind of opened up her coffin to get a jewel.
No, it was very peaceful. Almost pleasant.
Any idea how she died?
Charlena thinks she probably died of some common disease, like measles or something.
I'll bet you Jake had something to do with it.
The guy who takes care of the cemetery says he can tell from the way he buried her that Jake must have loved Camille a lot.
Ah, but did he love her? Or did he just have a guilty conscience? That's the question.
I better go.
Okay. Well, George, back to work.
Man, we can only call Bess and George in this game. Why can't we call the Hardy Boys? I'm just kidding. So let's solve this puzzle. Oh man, we have to sort things without getting them wrong. Grape? Okay, so apple's green. Red has got to be strawberry then. Mango. That looks wrong. This looks like it's strawberry. Purple is grape. Just have to remember, red is strawberry and green is apple. Mango? Yeah, that must be mango. Done! Woo!
I did it!
Righty. So, we did it.
Got that taffy sorted?
No problem. That was easy.
You sneak any freebies while you were at it?
Oh no, I would never do that.
Well, ain't you the goody two-shoes? Truth is, wouldn't have minded too much if you had, long as you fessed up to it. Here's the pickaxe. Cracked the handle pretty bad on the last batch of coconuts. You sure you want it?
Positive.
There you go. Don't hurt yourself.
I won't. Thank you.
Poor, I mean, broke the handle. Oh, here we go. It's Frank.
I'm in the kitchen of the diner playing short order cook.
Has that grandchild of Jake's engineer showed up yet?
Just came in with this lady who's even older than he is. And get this, he's a
Eustacia
retired
drop-off?
miner, so every time I
What?
finish an order and ring the pickup bell, he thinks it's the mine shaft elevator bell. And for some reason it makes him start telling his lady friend about his grandfather.
You mean you ring the bell and he starts talking about James Thurston?
Exactly. Of course, 5 seconds later, he's rambling on about something totally unrelated, but I just fill an order, ring the bell, and ding, he picks up right where he left off. That is, unless I fill the order wrong and the waitress chews me out. She's got a voice like a chainsaw. Very distracting.
Sounds like you better keep your ears open and your nose to the grindstone.
I am. Just wanted to keep you posted.
Well, good luck.
Thanks. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, I feel like this guy is dating Eustacia and Drop-Off. I think we'll actually get to hear what his girlfriend sounds like. So, onions, jalapenos, hot mustard, bacon, and cheese. Ooh. Onions. Which one's jalapeno? Jalapeno. Hot mustard. Bacon. And cheese.
So do you know what you want to order yet, Edna?
I'm still looking.
Did I tell you that my granddaddy was the engineer on a private train owned by one of the richest men that ever passed through Copper Gorge? Jake Hurley was his name. Yes, sir, my granddaddy was Jake's private engineer for more than 25 years. Told my daddy that men don't come any crazier than Jake Hurley, or any nicer. Treated my granddaddy real well, and told him stuff. Real important stuff. Stuff he made my granddaddy swear to never ever forget. Stuff that my granddaddy told my daddy, and that my daddy told me. Why don't you get the egg salad, Edna? Eggs are back to being good for you, you know. Seems like just last year all those scientific types were saying your arteries had clogged up because so much as looked at an egg. But nowadays, well, all of a sudden eggs are chock full of vitamins and proteins, and eating them's not only okay, it's what they recommend. They should either make up their minds or keep their mouths shut. Make eating more pleasant, that's for sure.
I mean, those fries do not look very good. No, they do not. Okay, everybody says just solve the puzzle as quickly as possible.
Yes, sir, Jake Hurley told my granddaddy things he never told another living soul. Not even his wife. I tell you about her, Edna?
I don't think so.
Camille was her name. Camille Boulet. That's French, you know. Of course, she died so young that poor Jake didn't have time to tell her anything. According to my granddaddy, one summer day she had a dizzy spell and fell and hit her head. She didn't take well to the heat, see? And sometimes in the summer, when they were going through the desert, why, that train'd be just like an oven. Anyway, the way my granddaddy died, that was kind of strange, too. I ever tell you how my granddaddy died?
No, I don't think you did.
My daddy, he came home from school one day to find a railroad official telling his mom that Granddad been found dead in Blue Moon Canyon, Nevada. He was in the engine of Jake Hurley's train, just kind of slumped over with his hand still on the throttle. The strange thing is, nobody else was on board the train, yet the door to the engine was locked and barred. It was like Granddad was trying to keep someone out, like he was running from something. Like something finally scared him so bad his heart just... I ever tell you about the mine my granddaddy said Jake Hurley'd found?
He found a mine?
A couple years before he died, Granddad told my daddy that Jake found a vein in the mountains somewhere and was mining it all by himself, so no one would steal it out from under him. He wouldn't even tell Granddad where the mine was. What he'd do is have Granddad drive the train real slow so he could jump off without Granddad seeing him. Then Granddad would pick him up at a prearranged spot a few days later. Oh, they didn't call him Crazy Jake Hurley for nothing. But the craziest thing Jake Hurley ever did was tell Granddad the secret to
Okay, we're all
finding his
done with
mine.
the puzzle.
He made
Hooray!
him swear to tell it to my daddy and nobody else. Eventually, my daddy, he told me.
Cheeseburger.
It
That
so
was a good
bizarre that I remember it to
cheeseburger
this
with
day.
peanut butter.
Though I sure don't understand how it'd help anybody find his mine. But since my daddy didn't tell me not to tell anybody, this is what Crazy Jake Hurley told Granddad, word for word. The eye of the tiger is fixed on a star. Zircon lies in fingers that scar. Amethyst floats in a hand from the deep. Citrine is what the foul mouth shall keep. Tourmaline by a soft arm is ensnared. Peridot rests at the foot of the mare.
The eye of the tiger is fixed on a star. Zircon lies in fingers that scar. Amethyst floats in a hand from the deep. Citrine is what the foul mouth shall keep. Tourmaline by a soft arm is ensnared. Peridot rests at the foot of the mare?
Frank, are you sure that's what he said?
I'm positive.
Frank probably wrote it down on the back of one of those order slips. That restaurant has a lot of burger orders. It could be just Joe, putting in a bunch of orders. That sounds exactly like something Joe would do. I would not put it past him. It's like, oh, Frank's working at the burger joint? Time to stop by the burger joint and just order a bunch of crazy burgers just to mess with him. Yeah, that sounds exactly like something Frank would do.
Do you think he could have been pulling your leg?
Look, this guy was old, okay? I mean, we're talking Jurassic. And guys that old don't joke around. They don't have time to. What you just heard is what I heard, word for word.
Tino found one of John Gray's thermometers by the emergency brake handle and is getting ready to throw the book at him.
John Gray threw the emergency brake?
Got anything else?
I almost forgot. You gotta check this out.
It's just an old letter, Frank.
You bet it's an old letter. From Samuel Clemens.
Oh my gosh, where'd you get this?
I found it in the caboose.
Apparently he and Jake were pen pals.
Wish I had a famous writer for a pen pal.
Yeah, I mean, famous writers write great letters, right?
When Joe gave it to me, I about flipped. I know I should turn it over to Lori, and I will, but it's just so darn cool.
I still don't see what the big deal is. I mean, it's not like it's from Mark Twain or anything.
Bwah, bwah, bwah.
What?
See you later.
If you need anything, just let us know.
Joe is either stupid or he's making a joke for the sake of making jokes. Of course Charlena is still here. So let me see, I wanted to steal that gem while Tino's gone, right? Needed to steal the gem while Tino's gone, yeah. I think that's the only thing we have to do while the characters are gone. I don't really think there's anything else we 100% need to do. Because there's nothing hidden inside John's area that we can steal, right? Steal. I probably shouldn't phrase it like that, but yeah. And this is broken.
Oh no. I need to fix the handle. What I need is some duct tape.
So in order to get the duct tape, I need to go to John. So now I need John to be here. Okay, but I think first I can do this. So let's see, do I have the gems for it? 1 + 6 on one side. And then 1, 2, 8, 7 on the other. Yeah, because we needed the eagle open in order to open up the eagle thing inside the room with the Hardy Boys. So let's see. And we also need to do the rubbings. We can do the rubbings right now. So that's good. I'll go out to do the rubbings. And then hopefully, you know, while I'm gone, everybody will return, and then everybody will be back on board. We can ask Lori for duct tape. That sounds like it could be funny. So the rubbings over here. Just put the paper on here. And where is the pencil? Here's the pen. It's at the bottom of the inventory. I mean, I guess it makes sense it's at the bottom of the inventory because we haven't ever used it. And I guess you started the game with it, but still, it's kind of a... I'm like, ah! It should not be that hard to find a pencil in my inventory. Okay, and then the final one is this. So what we have to do is match this.
Wisdom, charity, purity, eternity.
Match this to the numbers in the Stitch sampler thing. And I think that's it. Now, we also had the eagle here, so let's solve this eagle puzzle.
More pipes. Why am I not surprised?
Don't worry, it's the last pipe puzzle, I think. No, it's not. We have the sleeper car pipes, don't we? So in this one, the red and blue ones are on a different... You want the red and blue ones to be different. Even though red and blue move together, so that makes this a complicated puzzle. Let's see. How on earth am I supposed to do this?
There,
Like this?
that looks right.
Yep, got it. Okay, so then let's go this way. Let me see. So the Stampler thing was 7963. So now we can open this. See those symbols? That's how we know which one is which. So it's 7963.
And naturally, we have still more pipes.
Jeez, how do we get these pipes at all to match? There we go. That's it. Figured it out. Had to get those pipes at least to look somewhat good when they match each other. So let's see. I just need to get all the remaining pipes to touch each other. Those look like they touch.
That should do it.
Looks good. Now we get to ask John for duct tape.
What's up?
Well, I'll catch you later.
Goodbye.
Actually, yeah. We wanted to ask Lori for duct tape too, so let's ask Lori for duct tape. Yeah, because John's the one who actually has duct tape, so we're gonna ask Lori first.
Yes?
Do you know if there's any duct tape around here?
Duct tape? Duct tape. Nope, afraid not. Sorry.
Oh, I thought that would be a fun conversation. That was just her being, huh?
I hear Tino took you and John on a trek to Jake's mine.
Jake's mine, my eye. We went tramping through the snow, lugging all this equipment John insisted on bringing, and where do we end up? At this teeny tiny, half-rotten, tumble-down outhouse.
He led you to an outhouse?
Well, he said it was the opening to a mine shaft, but then John said if it was, shouldn't the hole be going into the mountain instead of just down? So they stood there arguing until Tino finally grabbed a shovel, went inside, and started digging. What he found was definitely not gold.
Gross.
What did John say?
He called Tino a moron, and a whole lot of other things I'd rather not repeat.
We'll talk some more later.
I'll be waiting.
I won't be. So do not go camping with Tino. That's the moral of that story. So I imagine Tino's here. Let's wrap up the whole, you know, the break on the train subplot.
What's going on?
Do you by any chance have any duct tape?
Duct tape? Sure don't. But there was this one case I worked where duct tape came in real handy. See, I had just collared this.
I'm kind of in a hurry, Mr. Balducci.
Oh.
Maybe some other time.
I really wanted to hear the rest of that story.
What's going on?
You're the one who pulled that emergency brake, aren't you?
Me? What, are you joking?
Care to explain how packing material from the box those thermometers were in wound up on the floor over there?
You're just some teenage nobody. I don't have to listen to this.
You're right, you don't. Neither do the other passengers. But unless you give me a good reason not to, I think I'll tell them anyway.
Look, maybe I was a little hasty, pointing a finger at the ghost guy like that. Maybe all those lies people have been spreading are starting to get to me. Maybe I thought it would help if I got a little positive press by solving a crime aboard a haunted train. Maybe I apologize. And, maybe you can see fit not to let any of this go beyond this room?
Well, no harm done, I guess.
Great. Well, what else can I do for you?
Maybe. This guy gets a free pass on almost killing everyone with the emergency brake. Come on.
So, how did your expedition to Jake's mine turn out?
Well, as you may or may not have heard, I didn't find the mine. But at least now I know where it isn't, which is just as good as knowing where it is. Sorta.
Hope I didn't take up too much of your time.
Helping people is what I'm all about.
Yeah, Tino's a really bad detective if he just leaves the evidence of his crime out there. Like, he cannot be the culprit. He's too much of an idiot to solve any culprit, you know, mysteries.
What's up?
Would you by any chance have any duct tape?
Got some right there in my gearbox. That's the good news. The bad news is, I can't open the box. It's an antique lockbox that I found in this abandoned monastery I scoped out on my show last year. You can open it with either the key, which I just discovered I forgot to bring with me, or the combination, which you're supposed to be able to figure out just by looking at the box. Fortunately, I didn't put anything critical in there. I've never tried to open it without the key, but if you want that duct tape, go ahead and give it a shot.
Thanks, I think I will.
If you get it open, the duct tape's all yours.
There's an image on each of those buttons. They tell a story, maybe? I bet the animals should start from the left shore.
And that's the solution. So basically, it tells the story of how the animals got from one shore to the other. Hey, can I play your piano yet?
I moved my microphones, so if you want to play the piano, knock yourself out.
Yay!
Thank you.
I guess we were probably supposed to do this while he was gone on the trip, but this works too. I'll play that wrong.
A spyglass. I'll bet it's the one I need for Jake's projector.
So I think we might have everything we need to fix the projector. Let's see if the game agrees. So I put on the duct tape.
There, good as new. Sorta. Nothing happened. This contraption is obviously powered by something, but what?
Oh, right, we didn't do that yet, did we? Okay, we need to turn on the pipes, right? I think if we fix all the pipes together... Let me just check to make sure we've turned on all the pipes. Let me see if I remember where the pipes are located. I'm not remembering off need to spin the wheel in the kitchen to start the pipes. But it makes me feel like I'm missing something. Did I solve this one yet? I solved that one. Okay.
Sounds like steam from the engine is moving through those pipes now.
Okay, good. We did. Yeah, okay, that is it. We just needed to spin that wheel, and then that was it.
Hey, how's it going?
See you soon.
Sounds good.
Beautiful. So, now we can solve that giant puzzle. Yeah, going back and forth from room to room in this game can be kind of a pain. Kind of makes me wish there was just a map that we could use to go from car to car. Oops, didn't mean to click there. Because you'll notice it's taking me like 30 or so seconds to get to where I'm trying to go. So not everything is in place, though. A couple things are not in place.
Darn, I must be missing something.
Whoa. So one of these is the lantern, I think?
Okay, looks like that goes there.
And then the spyglass goes there.
This goes here.
And this is the big giant puzzle that we heard. Tourmaline rests on the foot of the mare. Fingers that scar, that really long one that the Hardy Boys heard. Okay, this is the foot of the mare. A hand from the deep, huh? See, it's tricky because you might think that's also hand from the deep. So this puzzle's not.
Whoa! Looks like I did something
super
right.
Simple, but hey, when you do it all correct, when you get them all correct, the game lets you know. So that's helpful, and we're done. Fingers that scar. Oh no, I'm missing something. Let's see, I've got the correct map. What am I missing? I thought I got all those right.
There's still water in it, which means it must be out of carbide.
Well, then I'll put in some
There,
carbide.
it should work now.
There we go. And that should be the final thing then. Please let it be the final thing.
And we have liftoff.
This is very pretty with the lights. Lights combine to form super lights.
where Jake's mine is? Brimstone Canyon.
Aha!
Don't you look all excited. What's up?
I think I know where Jake's mine is. Tell the engineer to head for a place in Nevada called Brimstone Canyon.
Way to go! I knew you could do it, Francie.
Not Francie, Nancy.
Here's the deal. When we get there, I'm going to make sure that you get to be the first one to check out the mine. I'll call everyone together in the dining car, and while we're in there, you slip off the train. Will 10 minutes be enough of a head start?
That'd be great.
Think of it as your reward. Of course, anything you find in the mine is, well, mine. So if I find out that you've taken something without telling me, let's just say things could get ugly.
Is that a threat? This mine doesn't belong to you. All you own is the train, not the mine.
Don't worry, you can trust me.
I have the feeling that thanks to you, we are about to discover something huge. Great job, Amy.
Thank you.
Amy doesn't even sound close to Nancy. Come on, Lori. So, here we are.
Sounds like the train's leaving. Where's it going? Well, Frank and Joe will make sure it comes back for me. I hope.
Can we even call Nancy's friends? Aw, we can look at the pictures we've made. Yes, I'll delete the picture. I want to see if we can call Nancy's friends. Menu. Nope, just email. I guess the phone just too far out of range. We can't call anyone. In any case, we run all the way over here, and this is a puzzle. We want to lift up the latches in the correct order. Got it. So this sets off a cannon.
Whoa!
And here's the lost
right.
mine.
This is the entrance to Jake's mine. Whoa, what's going on here? Jake's color wheel seems to be pointing toward purple. Wow, glowing lizards. Cool, but weird.
I guess the lizards have not moved in the past 100 years. So it looks like we're going to yellow. Ooh, next we're going to go for the purple ones. That cannon's cool, and the lizards are cool. Orange, orange, then red, then yellow, now green, purple, yellow. You might have noticed we have a bunch of symbols that we've passed along the way.
Uh-oh, there's some kind of chamber on the other side of those poles. But if I move the wrong one, the ceiling will collapse. Jake was too meticulous not to have left a clue somewhere as to how you're supposed to move them. I wonder if it has something to do with that symbol I saw before.
So as Nancy just said, we just need to follow the symbols we saw in the order we saw them. Maybe those lizards are fake. They're like magnetic fake lizards. I don't know, but why are they glowing? I've seen
that symbol before. Okay, so far so good. Uh-oh.
Oh, jeez. I thought that was it.
Okay, so far so good.
Okay, rocking horse. This one.
I should be able to get through there now.
Woohoo!
Jake Hurley, I presume? Camille. It figures he'd be carrying a picture of her. There's something underneath it. Looks like a letter. April 14th, 1865. Your humble friend, Abe. Oh my gosh, this is from Abraham Lincoln. And April 14th is the day he was assassinated.
How does Nancy know that date off the top of her head? And how did Jake die? It looks like he died from starvation or something. I'm not quite sure. Maybe he was sick and already dying, so he just decided to get his body into this puzzly spot. I don't know. It seems like he definitely set up all these puzzles on purpose. He must have known he was going to die.
This letter must be worth a fortune.
That's just what I thought, too. See, what I didn't tell you when I gave you that letter Jake wrote to Ruth is that I also found his diary, which is how I found out he'd gotten to be friends with President Lincoln, and that he'd gotten a letter from Abe that he knew would be so valuable someday that he always kept it on his person. Can I have it?
Sure.
He could have
See, I knew if we could just find Jake's body, we'd find the letter. And you did it, Amy. You did it. I'm going to be famous. Good famous for once.
So you never really cared about finding Jake's mine?
Nah. I mean, it would have been nice if it was filled with gold and silver and stuff, but this is what I was really after.
And you followed me because you didn't trust me?
I trusted you to find it. I just didn't trust you to give it to me. And now that you have, you know, I'd really, really be famous if I could say I found this all by myself. But even if I got you to lie for me, how do I know you'd keep lying? Oh my gosh. What if there was like this cave-in and we were trapped, but I was the only one who made it out?
Excuse me?
Oh my gosh! That way I could not only say that I found the letter, but that I tried to save you, only you did something stupid, and it was all I could do to save myself. Oh my gosh! I'd make the national news for sure, and people would say I was smart and resourceful and courageous even.
Lori, you can't be serious. That's crazy.
You don't understand. People are finally going to respect me. I have to do this. Sorry.
Lori, no!
Lori! The opening's blocked. I'm trapped.
Yeah,
I better get out of here
Lori
before
is
something else caves
terrible
in.
person, and Nancy was just an idiot for handing over the super valuable letter to a suspect. Not the first time, or maybe not the last time Nancy gives super important evidence to a suspect. It's like, okay, save me now. What? You're gonna try to kill me? No! That's also in The Legend of the Crystal Skull. Nancy needs to stop giving the super valuable things to suspects, okay?
Maybe I
Every
could get out
single
of here
time she
next.
does, she gets betrayed. Yeah, so Lori tries to kill Nancy because, well, then people think I'm smart and famous and courageous. Nobody's going to think you're smart. They're going to say you got the letter because you're lucky. You know, by sheer luck. And this is a really cool challenge, too. I really like this. You need to avoid death. Yeah, Nancy's just way too nice for her own good, I suppose. So Jake apparently died very close to an exit to his mine? Okay. That just makes me think, yeah, maybe he did actually poison himself. Just so he would die in this specific spot, so somebody, aka Nancy, would come along decades later and solve all of his puzzles. Yeah, that was such a boneheaded move on Nancy's part. She must be taking detective advice from Tino Balducci. Because that's something Tino would do. It's like, hey, I got this super valuable letter worth millions. Oh, hey, here you go, Lori. Take good care of it, yeah? Woo!
Lori, are you all right?
Nancy, is everything okay?
It is now.
As soon as we discovered you and Lori weren't on the train, we jumped off and hightailed it back here.
What the heck's going on?
I'm sure Lori will be glad to tell you all about it.
Darn you, Natalie.
It's Nancy. Dear Hannah, some hostess Lori Gerard turned out to be. When her father heard that she'd tried to seal me up in that mine, he canceled all her credit cards and said that from now on, Lori'll have to support herself. She has yet to stop crying. Tino Balducci told reporters that he knew what Lori was up to all along and said he let Frank, Joe, and me solve the case so we amateurs could enjoy his limelight. Joe was just about to belt him when a big argument broke out between John Gray and Charlena over whether John had really recorded Camille's ghost. She started calling him a crackpot, and then he started calling her a hack. Then, well, let's just say that soon the press was no longer interested in what Tino had to say. As for Jake Hurley, it turns out that his letter from Abe Lincoln is worth a small fortune. Pretty ironic, huh? Jake spent his whole life searching for gold, when all along he possessed something far more valuable. His uncanny knack for making friends. Love, Nancy.
Friends are more important than gold. Aww. That's a nice moral. I like that. And I am the candy dancer because I am so good when it comes to dancing. Woo! I'm the candy dancer, woo!
Have you ever been to Paris, France? Well, preparez-vous, because that's where my next mystery adventure takes place. I'm going to be the assistant to Minette, a famous fashion designer. I'll be working undercover to find out why she's been acting so peculiar lately, throwing tantrums, firing people. She's even started wearing a mask for no apparent reason. Her studio is in this spooky-looking centuries-old moulin. That's French for windmill. Of course, that doesn't have anything to do with her strange behavior. Or does it? Only one way to find out. Help me solve my next case. Danger by design. À la prochaine!
À la prochaine! Okay, so that's it for game number 13 in the Nancy Drew series. Thanks for watching, everybody.